Jalen Hurts is about to get paid bank. This guy's about to get $50 million a year, setting a new mark for the quarterback position. But is he worth it? Is it too much? Is it too little? Are the Eagles crazy to even be stutter stepping? Will Joe Burrow increase the situation here and make it one of those things where the Eagles regret not giving Jalen the bag first? We're going to talk about all that more, the Fantasy Football Show, including your phone calls and questions. It all begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Smitty. You're talking to the man that is always here for you. I work for you, but the man that is here 365, okay? I don't shut down. I don't have a certain amount of time I take off. People sometimes walk in here and go, Smitty, take a break. Smitty, go on vacation. I don't do that. I go on like one vacation a year maybe, but I live for this. I breathe for this. I don't get burned out or worn out, or this is what I do. This is like air, oxygen for me to talk football 365. And I like no better time than the off season. This is my favorite time during the year because this is when there's so much going on. We don't have to worry about start bench advice and a lot of injuries. This is when all of the excitement happens, and I love the offseason. It's my favorite time of year, specifically right now until about, kickoff of week one. I love the season too. Don't get me wrong. We get to see a lot of our projections and predictions play out, but this is the most fun to me. There's no script. Every day's different. News breaks. I go live. I create content all day long throughout the day on top of going live. I absolutely love it. And this topic right here, there's a lot of quarterback buzz going on right now. Aaron Rodgers should be coming out of his darkness retreat any minute, any moment, he'll probably have like 8 to 10 to 12 hours of wind down time. We don't even know. He might be completely done in I think reintroduced to light in the world and be able to function out and about, driving his car home, whatever. We don't know. Or he could be maybe getting out of that situation tonight and then need another 8 to 12 hours. Bottom line is, I don't know when we're going to hear from Aaron Rodgers. No one knows. Maybe he's going to take a couple days off and reflect after his darkness retreat. Maybe he gave up after one day because 4 days is a long time. We don't know, but we're still waiting on Aaron Rodgers because until we know what he's going to do, we don't really know what Derek Carr is going to do. But Derek Carr reportedly had a very good meeting with the New York Football Jets today. Let's put this on screen. Derek Carr had a very, very good meeting with the New York Jets. So we got to ask ourselves, will the New York Jets act early upon said good meeting, and maybe strike a deal with Derek Carr because they're too worried that Aaron Rodgers is going to leave them hanging and not be there in the 11th hour? Because if Derek Carr ends up going and visiting with the New Orleans Saints, let's say, and even though he already went there, he goes and visits again. Maybe his meeting with them was actually a positive one, even though the vibe was that they wanted him to take a pay cut. It didn't go well. It could have been very, very different. The news reporting right now is shoddy at best in the fantasy industry and in the NFL news space. So we could be fed bad information. He could go back and sign a deal with New Orleans Saints immediately. Somebody could come in and say, hey, what are they offering you? We'll give you 10 mil over that right now if you sign right now. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. It's a bidding war. We're talking about all these teams that need a quarterback very badly. And when we talk about Derek Carr, and you have the Bucks probably interested. The Saints are for sure interested. I'm sure the Panthers would be. The Colts say that they said they weren't, but I'm sure they are. The Falcons are probably interested. The Jets are certainly interested. I bet you the Raiders are still interested now. They realize their mistake. The Miami Dolphins probably are interested, but Derek Carr would need a very specific promise and total bag from Miami Mike to feel confident going into a cloudy situation. This is like I said earlier on my video. It's crazy when people say that should the Niners sign Derek Carr, as if the Niners have a chance to sign Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not going to the Niners. He's not going to a cloudy situation. He can go wherever he wants where there's no competition and get a huge monster contract. It's so funny when people talk about Derek Carr going to their team when they're not going to even offer him well over $100 million guaranteed. And that's what's funny is people say, oh, he's not worth that. We wouldn't. Well, then you're not going to get him. You're not going to get him. You may not think Derek Carr is worth $100+ million guaranteed, but if you think you're going to get him as your maybe rotational quarterback, you're out of your minds. Derek Carr can go wherever he wants. He's the only free agent quarterback on this top tier here. Brady, he stepped away. He's going to get tagged. Lamar's getting tagged for sure. Will he get traded? Maybe. But Lamar's tagged. Aaron Rodgers has to get traded. He is the number one available free agent quarterback with a huge advantage over everybody else because this man right here, Derek Carr, can sign tomorrow. Jimmy G, Mike White, all these guys, Baker Mayfield, every free agent here, they have to wait until next month. March 15 and beyond to sign or ink a deal. This guy, Derek Carr, can do it tonight, tomorrow, the next 5 minutes, he could sign a contract with whoever he wants. He's got the world by the balls. So if anybody thinks he's coming to your team to maybe compete for a job, you don't even know what you're talking about. This guy's going wherever he wants. So Miami Mike, if he wanted him, would have to make some assurances and pay him such a big amount of money that there's no question that he's the starting quarterback. Like no question at all. And so circling back to this layout here, okay? Derek Carr may or may not help initiate, setting the market for Hurts, or the baseline, so to speak. Because if this guy Derek Carr comes out and in a bidding war gets a massive deal, way above any of the expectations that any of us have. Like, I have a feeling people will be making fun of his contract. That's how big I think it's going to be. I think some people will defend him. I personally defend Derek Carr a little bit more than the average bear because this guy was playing in Las Vegas doing some good things, but not winning games and not closing things out because there were some problems there on that roster. I think problems we'll see reemerge in a way, even if Aaron Rodgers ends up in Las Vegas. I don't think Aaron Rodgers, even if they franchise tag Josh Jacobs for 10+ mil, and they bring in Aaron Rodgers and pay him $60 million for 2023, and they find a way to make all that work, which they can. It's all movable. I don't think they win a Super Bowl. Whereas if Aaron Rodgers goes to New York, I think he could win a Super Bowl. Derek Carr, I think, got a bad shake, and he's getting kind of talked about as if he's not capable of being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Maybe he's not top 5. The top 5's too good. There's no room for Derek Carr in the top 5, and that's no slight. That's just fact. That's Joe Burrow, Hurts, Josh Allen, and maybe Fields territory. Fields gets into the top 5 to dance with the top 4. That is a massive place to be. We can't expect that from Derek Carr. I don't care. If he goes to Miami, he'll flirt with it. He'll flirt with those numbers. He'll be 5, 6, 7 all year long. Derek Carr will be number 5, 6, 7 in fantasy football and production in Miami with Miami Mike. But Derek Carr in New York, Derek Carr in New Orleans, this is a top 7 to 12 quarterback. We'll give him a wide range because there are a lot of similarities between Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr in terms of production and volume and all that. If he's in a good spot, let's say Aaron Rodgers is back in Green Bay or in Las Vegas or in New York, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, a lot of similar production, I think, going to be tossed around on all sides. So, there's a big range, okay? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He'll be somewhere in there all year long. Derek Carr's not a bad quarterback. Derek Carr's still got a lot of time left. ESPN said DC has been to New Orleans twice already. Derek Carr might have he might be taking some private trips over to New Orleans. We'll have to see. But man, the thing we're talking about here also though is Jalen Hurts. The salary cap, look, $50 million a year this monster contract he's going to sign. Probably the Eagles are looking to sign him to a 9-10 year deal to try and make it more team friendly. Give him the amount of salary he wants per year, but stretch it out over a 10-year time frame. That way it's a little bit easier to do. $50 million a year is going to be small potatoes in 2-3 years from now. The salary cap over the last 2 years has gone up over 20%. The salary cap in the next 2 years is going to go up at least 20 to 22%, according to some people that are projecting the salary cap increases and such. So 2 years from now, when you have this guy already on 2 years of his 10-year deal, you're going to look back and go, that was a good deal. That was a pretty good deal, because the cap's going to go up. So the longer the Eagles wait, they're guaranteed to pay more money for Jalen Hurts. And I'm talking like they wait 2, 3, 4 months. They're guaranteed to pay more money to this guy Hurts every single week and month and day they wait. It's just a fact. The Amazon and YouTube technology deals are going to be feeding the NFL a boatload more money. The NFL cap is going up. And in 2 years' time, bare minimum, the cap's going to go up by 20 to 22%. So now is the time to strike a very team-friendly 8 to 10 year deal with a guy like Jalen Hurts, who is a team player. I bet you that Jalen, push comes to shove, if you're willing to meet him at his $50 million a year mark and make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, you surpass $50 million a year, he will be open-minded to the 10-year deal, which Mahomes took. Mahomes wanted to stay in KC, very team-friendly. All he wanted was the respect of the average salary, and get the big fat deal and the security. Like, I think Hurts is going to be similar. Hurts may be advised not to do it. A lot of people are saying they're going to advise him not to do a 10-year deal, to do a shorter deal for his own benefit. But I think if they meet his $50 million a year number, his making him the biggest, highest paid quarterback in the National Football League, he will take a 10-year team-friendly deal. Joe Burrow needs a bag. Jalen Hurts needs a bag. Lamar Jackson needs a bag. And I think these quarterbacks probably don't want to be the first player to sign, because they're going to set a tone, and then the next quarterback's going to potentially try and get more. So it's going to be interesting, and smoke season begins. Franchise tagging starts tomorrow, and these are some important dates that I'll throw on screen here. So we've got February 21st beginning on this date through 4 p.m. New York time. So on tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern through March 7, clubs can designate franchise tag and transition players. Okay? So that means that they don't have to franchise tag them tomorrow, but starting tomorrow through March 7. And then from March 7 until March 15, there's the period in between where you're waiting for free agency to begin. February 28th through March 6th will be the scouting combine. Okay, so the scouting combine ends on March 6th. The franchise tag deadline is the day after March 7th. Those go hand in hand kind of for a reason. So the combine 28th through the March 6th, that we're looking forward to that. March 7, prior to 4 p.m. New York time, deadline for clubs to designate franchise tag players. That's the date I talked about up above. March 15, 2023. League year begins, free agency period begins, 4 p.m. Eastern time, New York time. Free agency begins. Let's giddy up. Let's giddy
to the moon.
I'm so pumped and excited for the league calendar year to begin, March 15. April 21st, deadline for restricted free agents to sign offer sheets. And then April 27th through the 29th is the NFL draft.
To the moon.
To the moon, NFL draft. I'm excited. You're excited. This is on my Instagram if you want these important dates. It's one of my most recent posts, so go get it on my IG at thefantasyfootballshow.com if you want to list of those important dates again. But I'm going to open the phone lines. We're going to start talking about all this. I'm excited. You're excited. Jalen Hurts signing a big deal soon. I can smell it. Mahomes. Joe Burrow, same thing. Joe Burrow about to ink, I think, an extension here soon. And Derek Carr may be setting the tone for everybody.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show. Your boy Smitty is here to take your phone calls and walk you through whatever you want to be walked through right now. I work for you. I work for you. Put the phone number up at the top corner there. We did some live drafts last night, or we did a live draft last night. We'll probably do some more Tuesday and Thursday night. I've got a franchise tag video dropping at some point tonight, so look for that, okay? We'll do a premiere probably tonight. So it'll be a later premiere. Could be around the midnight time that we usually go live when we do go live on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. So about that time, I won't be going live. More so, I'm going to be doing a live premiere on the franchise tag players. So Tony Pollard, Danny Dimes, Saquon Barkley, in ahead of tomorrow's kickoff of the franchise tag designation day. Okay, so that video will drop right around midnight Eastern tonight. Smitty sent you a super chat. Oh, my bad. Okay, yeah, let me hit those super chats. Thank you for dropping that. JB dropping a super $5 holler. Appreciate you, JB. Jalen Hurts plus 2.04 pick for Drake London plus Trey Lance, and the 4.9. Who wins? Don't trade Jalen Hurts, bro. I love Drake London. He's a satellite man.
Satellite men. Space cadets in training.
Very soon to be a moon man, just to be completely honest with you. So I want to tell you that up front. But Jalen Hurts, this is a moon man extraordinaire from last year. This is a pancake stack man. This is a tripodder. He's a tripodder, bro.
The tripod, also likened to pyramids in ancient Egypt, are constructed using Burrow or Hurts, Chase or a JB, Hall or Walker.
Don't trade away a tripod. Not the top piece, bro. I love Drake London, but who's Trey Lance, bro? As much as I love Trey Lance, I don't need to hear that from anybody. But you loved him last year. It doesn't matter what I loved last year. Shanahan destroys everything. And I don't know about you, but I don't trust Shanahan to not screw Trey Lance here. And everybody loves Brock Purdy. So, I don't know that there's hope for Trey Lance. He gets a crack at it potentially in the offseason here, as Purdy's going to be so hard-pressed to be ready for camp. But I don't trust Shanahan, and Trey Lance might leave you completely quarterback free at some point if that's your starting quarterback. So, JB, I need to know what your quarterback situation looks like. What's your quarterback room look like if you end up trading Jalen Hurts away? And if this is a super flex, the answer is absolutely no, take a lap. But this is almost like borderline absolutely crazy to be accepting a trade where you're trading away Jalen Hurts. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Thank you for the super chat, JB. Who am I talking to?
Yo, this Hav G's. What up, yo?
Who is this?
Yo, this Hav G.
Oh, okay. How do I Hav G? I've been calling you Javi just because I thought it was short for Hav.
You've been saying that's cool.
Okay,
that's cool because that's really it's a term of endearment. People that know me and grown up with me and really, really know me, that's what they call me. So,
all right,
cool.
Hav G, what can I do for you? And first of all, we're really glad you found the community. I've been seeing your comments that you're excited to be here. You're excited you found the channel. You felt like the channel was a positive vibe. We really take pride in being a positive group, and we don't like negative Noahs or petrified Peters or worried Williams coming into our chat and just screwing things up. So, Hav G, we appreciate you. We love having you, pal. What can I do for you?
Oh man, yo, the channel's dope. The community, man, feels like a family, yo. It's this beautiful vibe y'all got going.
Thank you.
So, I'm loving it. I want to be a part of it.
You are. What can I do for you?
I'm disappointed in my like I love Daniel Jones, but this news of him wanting $45 million. I'm like, he's feeling himself right now.
Yeah, Danny Dimes is a tough player to assess, and I've got a video. You're gonna like this video tonight. It's about midnight. We'll do a live premiere. So live premiere is where I go on. I'm in the live chat. It's a post-production video that I upload, but I'm live in the chat during the whole release of it. It's all in the cap, it's all in the tag players, the franchise tag players. So Danny Dimes, Barkley, Tony Pollard, Lamar. And so I break down all the franchise tag situations and possibilities heading into tomorrow's franchise tag date where clubs can franchise tag players. Danny Dimes is a tough one. As I talk on this video, he's commanding over 40 plus million a year. The tough part is for the Giants, that's the same number as the franchise tag. You know, so if they want to see if Danny Dimes is worth it, they're going to want to franchise tag Daniel Jones and see if he can earn it again, right? Prove it. The problem with that is that you lose Barkley if you do that. You either have to sign Barkley to a long-term deal or Danny Dimes to a long-term deal in order to keep the other. And so you have until this March 7th deadline to slap the franchise tag on one of these guys and have the other one ready to work out for a long-term deal. So Danny Dimes is the more likely player to get signed to a long-term deal. Why do I say that? Because think about it. If Barkley is a franchise tag capable player for you, you tag him for 10 mil. 10 mil is not a lot. You tag him for 10 mil, and then Danny Dimes you sign to a long-term deal. You make it team-friendly. You try and structure it a certain way. But either way, he's getting paid 40 to 45 million this year. You know what I mean? So if you're paying Barkley an extraordinary amount of money and then you franchise tag Danny Dimes, you've got so much money tied up and you don't even have Danny Dimes on a long-term deal. If you sign Danny Dimes to a long-term deal and you franchise tag Barkley, that's only $10 million more onto the situation. I think ultimately I'm hearing that the team wants to sign both these guys, that they're working really, really hard to ink both of them to long-term deals. They don't want to franchise tag one and then therefore work out a deal with the other. Problem is, if they don't get a deal done with one of them or get something worked out and they have to franchise tag one, the other one's walking. And that's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, the numbers, the money's not going to be right. You can't even bring in any good free agents. You're going to be struggling to pay your rookies. It's just going to be crazy.
He's not worth $45 million though. Yeah, I agree with you.
No, he's not. He's not. Crazy.
So if you're the team, here's what you do. You work out a long-term deal with Barkley because you do know he's worth it. You do know he's worth it. Now, the running back is a tough... That's what I would do. I'm thinking that they franchise tag Barkley and sign Dimes to a long-term deal. That's probably what happens. But if it's me, I franchise Danny Dimes, and then I work out a long-term deal with Barkley because I feel pretty comfortable with Barkley for 2-3 years. And honestly, the running back contracts are not the craziest. To me, that makes the most sense. But like I said, it's complicated though for this year because if you ink Barkley to a big deal and then you have to pay this man $45 million, that's a lot. It's complicated, but that's what I would want. That's what I would want because I feel more worried. I'd rather spend a lot this year doing that than worry about inking this guy to a huge contract and be worried about whether I made a mistake. But here's the thing, man. I mean, he had such a good year, and Dable's so good with quarterbacks. I don't know. It's tough, bro.
Yeah. Then the flip side is you just let him walk. You just get you a QB for the meantime, a bridge or maybe one of these young ones. I don't know. Because if he wants 45, I'll be like, man, you can kick rock.
No, it's a lot, bro. It's a lot.
That's too much.
Yep. So what do you think?
Big time.
What do you think happens?
Ah, man. He's unless this is just like smoke from they leaking the info, somebody leaking it and just so you can have that number out there. I don't know. I just can't see both of them.
So let me ask you this. So what I talk about on the video tonight is that there are two types of tags. So you have the exclusive tag and the non-exclusive tag. You can only use one tag. Each team can only tag one player, and you got to pick which one you want to tag, non-exclusive or exclusive. The non-exclusive is a lot less. So it's $32 million for quarterbacks versus the 43 to 45, whatever the quarterback franchise tag number is. It's 45, I think. So you're paying Dimes $32 million on the non-exclusive tag, right? And then what the risk is with that, though, is that a team can come along, slap down an offer sheet, and take him away unless you match it. If you match it, now what if they offer him to some huge long-term contract that you're like, darn it, we didn't want to go that route. You've got to match it or let him go. If you let him go, you get 2 first-round picks. So in the case of Lamar commands 3 first-rounders. So you can't really do that with Lamar. But would Danny Dimes get 3 first-rounders? I don't think so. So if you put the non-exclusive tag on him, do you think a team would come along and offer him a huge contract that would make the Giants say no? Or do you think it's worth the risk of slapping the tag on him, hoping nobody comes a knocking? Because I think a lot of people believe that he is Dable made. I don't know that he goes and has success with another coach. I don't know. It's tough, bro.
It has to be a good coach because he did it his rookie year. Because he threw for over 20 touchdowns his rookie year. So he showed what he can do, but then he's had bum coaches up until Dayball. So Dayball brought the best out of him.
Yeah.
So if he stays there, with Dayball, he's going to be, he could be a franchise QB.
So maybe you throw the non-exclusive tag on him for $32 million, and then hope nobody comes along and offers him a huge contract that you've got to match or let go. But if you let him go and you get 2 first-rounders,
so you get compensated no matter.
Yeah, you get compensated. So that's probably what you do. You work a long-term. You work a long-term deal out with Barkley, and then you throw a non-exclusive tag on Dimes, pay him $32 million. The part that's hard with that cash though is it ties the team up pretty hardcore, and they can't maneuver or make moves, and they miss out on free agency, and they so it's like they got, especially if the player's unhappy, and you're just sitting there. So like Lamar, for example, if the team's trying to potentially work out a trade with Lamar, they want to do it as soon as possible so they don't have that $45 million tied up on Lamar. It's gonna be crazy, bro.
Yeah, no, in hindsight, if they'd have just went ahead. So what would have been? Do you know what if they'd have picked up his 5th year, what the money would have been this year for him?
I don't know exactly, but you didn't. I mean, you could play. Hindsight is 2020 all day long on that. You didn't know he was going to do what he did last year, so I don't know anybody in their right mind that would have picked up his 5th year option before last year started. So, but I want to say I can try and pull it up here. Daniel Jones. Let's see what the 5th year option would have looked like. I might be able to find it. So I think it was $22.3 million, which would have been nice, Yeah. It would have been nice if you would have known that.
But even not knowing what he was going to do, because Dayball's a genius. He comes in, and they're gonna. You could have just rolled the dice and been like, all right, we're the new regime. I saw what you did your rookie year. You haven't done well up until now. I'll pick up your 5th year, prove it, and then boom. But he'd still be in this position talking about I want 45, so that wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. It's crazy, bro. I mean, $22 million. You bring that up is a good point. I looked at it, $22 million. 30.
I'd have took that. I'd have rolled the dice.
Yeah, he still would have been unhappy, but because a lot of players want that extension walking into that 5th year option year. But he wouldn't have had a leg to stand on though. It's like, bro, you just barely did what you did for the first time. I mean, like you said, good rookie year, but so we'll see. I don't love Danny Dimes from a fantasy football perspective, but he certainly,
not at all.
he certainly, with his running ability, could deliver if you needed him to. Like, he's not horrible, but it's hard to draft him as your starter. He'd have to be like your backup bye week guy. You get an injury, you throw him in there. Like, I like him in that capacity, but it's hard to draft him. You know, what will be interesting is what they do at wide receiver. Who do they bring in? Do they trade for a DeAndre Hopkins as an example? That would be interesting.
I say no. I say no.
No.
It would be nice, but no.
No Hopkins. Oh, you say
if
no?
Wandale
They
got
don't.
hurt,
Okay.
Shepard would have got hurt yesterday. Yeah, it would be nice, but nah, it's like it's just too much to invest in him. You forget 1 or 2 years out of him, but I say no. Just go. If Shepard and Wandale Robinson would have got hurt last year, they'd have been all right. Dennis Jones would have put up some numbers.
Yeah.
'Cause he's out there throwing the.
I think you need a wide receiver though. I think you need a wide receiver like Hopkins.
But they definitely need one. But Hodgins, that was a good move.
Love Hodgins.
Watching Hodgins play, that dude he knows how to find a hole in the zone, and then instead of like making, he's interesting because he'll turn his back. So the defender, he's boxing out. He'll turn his back to whoever's around. Then he'll just lean back after he catches it to get more yardage for first. So I'm like, that dude has good instinct.
Yeah, Hodgins could be a fantasy football wide receiver 3 gold mine. I'm just telling you guys right now.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Hodgins is one of my favorite, and you don't draft him as your wide receiver 3. You draft him as like your wide receiver 4 or 5, and he could find his way into your lineup as your wide receiver 3. I love Hodgins. I think that was a great re-signing, but I still think you need to have a Hopkins or a Keenan Allen, something like that. Keenan Allen or Hopkins would be a great fit for the Giants, but will you have enough money? Hopkins, you should be okay trading for him. There's compensation that will be involved, but I don't think the Cardinals are going to get a bunch. I think it'll be a lot lower than people think. But yeah, Daniel Jones, we'll see if he gets that non-exclusive or the exclusive tag, or if they give it to Barkley, or if they work out a deal with one or the other. But they definitely are short on time, because on March 7 is the deadline. So it opens up tomorrow, and then literally the clock starts. You have to decide when you're going to tag Danny Dimes or Barkley, and when you do so, the other one might walk. So you have to really you got to have a real good understanding of what direction the negotiations are going, because you have to tag the right person and leave the other person most likely to sign a deal left. Because I mean, what are you going to do? What if you lose Danny Dimes? Who are you going to start at quarterback? What if you lose Barkley? What are you going to do at RB? Losing Barkley would be a travesty, because that's the heart and soul of your offense. I know Danny Dimes wouldn't do what he did last year without Barkley. So I don't know.
No.
I don't know what you're going to do. You got to sign both, bro. You have to sign both.
Yeah, that would be terrible. Saquon walks, that'd be terrible. But you know where he'll go? Miami Mike will scoop him up. That'll be nasty.
Bro, can you imagine? I mean, if Saquon Barkley, I've got the running. Where's my running back board? Let's see. I think it's right here. No, I have a running back board somewhere. Running back free agent board. Oh, right here. So here's the running back board. Tony Pollard probably getting franchise tagged. I talk about that in the video that I'm dropping later tonight. You've got Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs. Those are the top dog free agents. That's it. And you've got 8 landing spots for RBs. Buffalo, Miami, as you just said, Cincinnati, Las Vegas, which probably will be Josh Jacobs if they tag him, Carolina, Philly, New York Giants if they don't bring Barkley back, Chicago, Arizona potentially. And Arizona's kind of iffy, but those are the top landing spots for RBs. Everywhere else doesn't need an RB on any sort of major level. Like, there's no dire need whatsoever. So 8 landing spots. Miami is one of them. Imagine Barkley in Miami, bro. Like you said, can you just? I mean, if Barkley doesn't get tagged and doesn't sign a contract, and he hits the free agent market, we're gonna have so much smoke. Oh my God, it's gonna ramp up our smoke season.
It's gonna be a bidding war.
It's gonna be amazing. Arizona
Yeah,
regret
Barkley,
Arizona regret giving Kyler Murray $40 million. No, because bro, as much as I doubt Kyler Murray, how the Cardinals going to get better at quarterback? I mean, draft a quarterback if we draft a quarterback, which I would be behind. But aside from that, which they're not doing, this new staff absolutely loves him, bro. That's all they talk about. So, if you,
that's good.
yeah, I mean, they're supporting him. They're supporting him, which is good. They're going to build around him. But this Eagles defensive coordinator coming over and trying to shake things up and trying to support Kyler. It's nice to see he supports this guy, but he's nonstop talking about Kyler. Says he wouldn't even come to Arizona as the head coach if Kyler wasn't here. That's the only reason he came for the most part. So he loves Kyler. There's no way he's detouring away from Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray's $40 million a year, and 2 years from now, it's going to look like chump change. So, do I think he's worth it? Not right now, but, what are the options, bro? What are the options? I would take, if I could get Bryce Young, I would take that gamble and trade away Kyler, but he's not going to do that. So I just got to get on board with him keeping Kyler because that's what he's going to do. And hopefully he turns things around. Hopefully he gets Kyler in a good place. Kyler seems excited about the situation now, so maybe he gets healthy. Maybe the Cardinals use that number 3 pick, trade down, and draft Bijan Robinson and surprise me. Then I'm gonna be real excited. Or what if they what? What?
No, go ahead, yo.
What if they trade? I don't think they'll do this, but they're probably trading Hopkins away. What if they traded that 3 down to like 12, 14, 15, and they took Jackson Smith and Jigba, or they to support Kyler? Because it seems like they want to support Kyler. They want to build around Kyler. I don't know. It'd be crazy.
That would be lovely. But the thing is, like, the coach, he's doing the right thing. Because Kyler's been maligned, but, some of that is on him, too. So he's going to prop him up. I want you to be the QB. You're going to be here. We're going to do this together. But Kyler has to do his part.
Yeah,
this diva nonsense and be the leader that he needs to be.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like Gannon's going to enable him. I think Gannon's good for the defense. He brought over his linebacker coach as well to be his DC. I believe he was the linebacker coach.
Ralling or something like that. Ralling.
Yeah, so he's bringing in a staff that he trusts. I love the Eagles defense. I love that people think it lost the Eagles the big game. I don't care what people say. I think the Eagles defense was fire all year. And I think Mahomes and Hurts, no one was slowing them down. No defense was going to slow either one down in the Super Bowl. So I'm tired of hearing the garbage talk about the Philly D. So the fact that Gannon's going to bring over his the guys he trusts to maybe turn this Cardinal defense into a similar type of aggressive playmaking type defense. The fact that he's going to support Kyler, hopefully get the best out of him. I'm kind of excited about what Gannon can do. We'll see. Anything else, bro?
So that's it, man. It was nice rapping to you.
Yeah, Hob G, appreciate you, man. Call in anytime. Phone lines are open most of the time, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna get in on some of them drafts.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Later.
All right, okay, son.
Later. Anybody else wants to call in?
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show. We may end up having a Moon Man video tomorrow. So we may have a Moon Man release tomorrow. So get ready for that. Excited to drop another Moon Man for you guys. Let me see if I can answer some of these questions in the chat here. Smitty, what's up with James Conner, the man who single-handedly pulled teams into the playoffs? I like Conner. Connor's pretty good, solid, but do I think the team might try and draft a RB? Sure. Do I think they'll use an early top 12 pick if they were to trade that number 3 down into, let's say they're still in the 10, 11, 12, 15, 18 range? Do I think they'll spend a draft selection on an RB? Probably not. I think they probably look at Connor and say, we want Connor to be the guy for 1 year. But if it was me, I would take Bijan. I wouldn't even hesitate. I'd take Charbonnet. I wouldn't even hesitate. I'd take Jahmyr Gibbs. I wouldn't even hesitate. These are generational running backs. This running back class, this rookie running back class is so special. It's so special. Watch my rookie running back video. I talk about how this class is better than last year, and you know how much I love Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. Living legend, call in. The phone line's open. My QB in Baltimore. What are we talking about here? Kyler got a rehab. Yeah, he might not be ready for the first part of the year. Some say he could be out the whole year, but I doubt he is. I think he probably returns at least by the halfway point. Maybe earlier. Take Purdy over Lance all day. And love Lance too. Yeah, but Purdy's got to get right too. You don't know how he's going to recover. Love the Giants talk. Thank you, Isaac, Smitty, Draft Boston, Scott. Smash that like button. Trying to read some of you guys' comments. Hodgins is a yak guy. Hodgins is great. He's an amazing secret weapon, wide receiver 3. Get ready for it. Darren's got to tag him. They do have to tag him, Frank, but they got to be careful because they got to sign one of them. Danny Dimes and Barkley. Zach, he might not last long. Who are we talking about? Bijan going to Detroit at number 18. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me in losing Jamal Williams. Maybe they bring Jamal Williams back. If they bring Jamal Williams back on a cheap deal, then you can kiss that idea goodbye. But could the Lions draft, if he were to fall, Bijan at 18? I suppose. Why would you not? I know Swift's really, really good, but they obviously don't trust him. They had an opportunity to use Swift, and they didn't. And Bijan's a monster. But do we want that? I don't want Swift and Bijan on the same team. It would be okay. I'd settle on it pretty quickly. But, ultimately, I want him in Philly at 10. Jahmyr Gibbs in Philly at 30, though. I'm okay with that. But we'll see. We will see. We're going to make it a short show today. Let's do one more phone call, and then I'm going to get to that premiere in a little bit. Appreciate you all joining me. We have 70 people in the room. Please punch that thumb up button. We got 41 thumbs up. This is definitely a topic that we're going to hear about, a lot, I think, in the coming weeks and maybe not months. Maybe he signs a deal real quickly. We'll see. But the coming weeks, at least, we're going to hear a lot of Jalen Hurts, a lot of Joe Burrow talk, Lamar Jackson. These are 3 QBs that are going to set the market at the quarterback position. And if anybody thought that $230 million guaranteed was crazy when Deshaun Watson signed it, which it still is because it's Deshaun Watson. He didn't deserve it. But if anybody thinks that we aren't going to reach similar numbers really quickly with these guys, get ready. Get your popcorn ready. Buckle up. It's going to get crazy. And as I said earlier, the salary cap has gone up over 20% the last 2 years. Over the last 2 years, and over the next 2 years, you're going to see the salary cap go up again at least 20 to 22%. So $50 million a year is going to be a distant memory 2 years from now. It'll be $60 million, $65 million, $58 million. It's going to be a distant memory, $50 million a year for a quarterback. Ron Navy, you're live.
Yes, Smitty, draft Boston Scott, why don't you?
Yeah, Boston Scott, not Tyler Scott. What's up?
I'm doing a draft right now, but what gets me is these, you know how YouTube is, right? But all these big sports channels and all that, they do so much clickbait. It's not even funny. I'm so tired of it. They'll put it down like car signs with the Jets or Aaron Rodgers decides to go to the Raiders or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, did they word it that way?
Yeah. It's just clickbait to get you to click on there like something has happened And, I sit here and I'm like, no, nothing happened. If something happened, Smitty would have been all over it already.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry. Yeah, the franchise stuff's going to get interesting. The franchise tag stuff's going to get interesting tomorrow. So that's at I think 4 p.m. New York time. So get ready for that. Let's see. Let me put it on screen here. So yeah, 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, February 21st. Teams can start franchise tagging players. So I don't know that anybody gets tagged tomorrow because it's kind of like I said in my video tonight that I'm going to drop. It creates animosity. The players used to call it the prison tag because it's like you're holding a player in check. And you're not letting the player do, and it was designed for quarterbacks, but now it's used for all positions. But it initially was designed for quarterbacks. Hey,
yeah.
Ron, hang tight right there. Living Legend, you're live.
Hey, what's up, Smitty, man? I was calling just to get your take on cause I know you've been doing. How long have you been doing fantasy for? I feel like you've been doing fantasy like for a long time. Like how many years have you been doing fantasy?
Professionally, over 20 years.
Yeah, that's just crazy. So I always wonder, like, so what you think like the best? Because everybody always say like LaDainian Tomlinson, Jair. But I always wanted to get your take on like what was like your guys, or if you had like a top 5 of like greatest fantasy seasons ever.
So
I always wanted to hear your list because I already know you probably got like a crazy list, like better than everybody
Yeah.
else.
So I was on
diving into like all that stuff.
I was on NBC Sports Radio and CBS Sports Radio. The show rotated between the two networks, but for 19 straight years, I joined the longest running it became the longest running fantasy football show in the world on the radio dial on NBC Sports or CBS. And when I joined, it had been going for like 4 or 5 or 6 years or something like that. So it was going 23, 24 years by the end of it. COVID stopped it. It sucked. But it had gone that long. So I was a part of it for 19 years. And on that show, the way I got into the fantasy industry was dropping bold predictions on that radio show. And so it turned into what was a guest appearance one time. People liked the bold predictions that I did. And really back in around 2003, no one really coined bold predictions. People were very conservative. And I got into the industry in 2003 because there was no trade calculator. And so I wanted to invent the first trade calculator, which I did to my knowledge.
Wow.
I believe one of the very first, if not the very first, instant draft simulator where you could just roll through draft simulations over and over using my rankings. And then the bold predictions, so the bold predictions, everybody uses bold predictions now, but no one did back then. I feel like it definitely I was coining that phrase back in 2003. So I went on to the radio shows and dropped bold predictions. People loved it. And I became known as that, bold, crazy guy. So a couple of my biggest lands became obviously some of my most popular predictions, like Arian Foster. I went on CBS, I think it was CBS Sports at that time, and said that he'd be a top 5 running back. And people were like, well, what? He'd played 2 years. He played week 16 and week 17, his rookie year when he was he was not drafted. Yeah, he was not a draft. He was not drafted at all. He was just a free agent acquisition. Played week 16 and week 17. Had 2 really, really good games. And bro, I knew from the moment I watched him, this guy's a top 5 running back. So I went on all offseason on the radio show, all August, saying draft this guy's a top 5 running back, and he was going to round 7 and round 8 in the June, July range. And so it was very much the Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall type of feel, like you could get him so late and they could just win you a league. He climbed up to about round 5, I think, right around the end of August because people started getting hyped about him. He was such a monster call. So that was one of my favorite players because of the ties I had to the prediction. Kurt Warner, Priest Holmes, probably my 2 favorite players of all time.
Yeah, that appreciate when he's with the Chiefs. Oh man, he was a monster.
Kurt Warner is such a good dude too. And that American Underdog movie is awesome. If that doesn't pump you up, if that doesn't make you feel like you can accomplish anything, even at an older age, never let go of your dreams. Like if that movie doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. because it's such a good movie about Kurt Warner.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man. Cause I know, because like I heard you talk about it before, but I don't think people would like need to give you your flowers, like, because you've been doing this for like really long, and like I'm pretty sure your system is so intricate for the way you rank your people and the different things and gauntlets you put them through. Like, so when you're giving people advice, it's like they really gotta pay attention. Like, I literally won my league from just watching your show every single day. Like, that's how I won my league.
Thanks, man.
Guys you say pick up. So it's like people gotta give you your flowers like right now and just like, you know what I mean, really celebrate you, because you're really giving them a lot that a lot of people that act like they know about fantasy will try to give them, but like you're really giving them information that's like golden. That, you know.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, I don't claim to be right all the time. I certainly have, you know, good years and bad. Everybody has good years and what you call bad years or whatever. Injury struck us hardcore last year. I feel like as a community,
Javonte
and Breece Hall.
Man.
I mean, if Javonte, I mean, injuries are what they are. We can't cry or complain about it. But like if Javonte and Breece Hall didn't both suffer the two biggest ACL injuries, if they didn't suffer ACL tears, our entire community would have won on such an astronomical level. Because look how good our community did, even with the replacements of Walker and like Pierce and those guys to replace Javonte and Breece Hall. I just like it motivates me this year to make sure we do what we were supposed to do last year, and we get luckier with the injuries and such. But I appreciate all the kind words, and you know, I've always taken pride in creating an environment that is ahead of the curve. It's always uncomfortable to predict things ahead of the curve. People think that you're crazy half the time, and then nobody remembers, you know, half the time what you say when you land it later. Oh, that was obvious. But that's just part of the game, and I appreciate it. I like it. I enjoy it, and I can't wait to continue to do this, bro. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, so I'll be here for another decade plus, easy. And this channel, I can't wait to take this thing to the top, bro. I know our community is so good. When people come here, they enjoy being in the community so much, and they spread the word. I have no doubt that we're gonna explode in the next year or two.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, it's all, you always get what you put out. You know what I mean? So that's a secret of life. You know, you put in good energy. You know, you put in good vibes, and you get good vibes that come back out. You know, so you put in negativity, you're gonna get negativity that come back out. So it's all about that.
Yep, appreciate you. Hang tight right there. You can stay here in case we got more questions for you. Ben, you're live.
Smitty, Ron, what's up, everyone? I forgot that last one's name, but I want to reiterate everything he was just saying, because
living legend.
You're really out here doing it every day, giving us the information we need to succeed out here. So appreciate you, Smitty.
Appreciate you, Ben.
And then I was just thinking, I'm doing an underdog draft right now. Man, you got to get these receivers real early. I mean, I've been running them for a while, but I didn't grab my first receiver here till the 5th round. I got Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It's real thin after that.
Well, it's mandatory 3 wide receivers and then a flex. So if you're playing in a 2 wide receiver mandatory and then a flex or whatever, it'd be different. But 3 required wide receivers, these degenerates in there that just like they're in every single draft. They're drafting wide receiver a lot of the time. So you gotta be real careful not to leave, you know, your first. You got to have a wide receiver in your first 3 picks, it seems. I mean, I've done drafts where I haven't, and I get crafty with it. But at the end of the day, I don't think I've ever loved a team that I've drafted on Underdog this year so far. And I've done a lot of drafts that I've loved that I haven't drafted in balanced fashion. Even going running back, or even going wide receiver, I don't love my team. Like I think the way you love your team the most is when you have a natural balance. You go best player available, but you also get the balance. Like, that's the best of both worlds. Because best player available is the only way to go. I'll never stray from best player available, because best player available is like on the outside, the surface level, what you're doing, and then it kickstarts a game plan for you. You know, so like best player available might send you down a wide receiver path. Best player available might send you down a tight end quarterback path. So it encompasses everything. But in order to get there, you can't walk in and say, I'm going wide receiver. Because if you do that, what are you leaving on the board? You can't possibly know that that's the best approach.
All right.
But when you come out of
my favorite draft,
you what?
I was just going to say my favorite draft so far have been with people that have been in love with the 2017 class, because I feel like we all feel like that 2017 class is falling off. And once in a while, I'll get in a draft where people just love that class, and they're taking Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara way too high.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the way to absolutely dominate and win the big money in this under. And if anybody wants to know what we're talking about, Underdog Fantasy, link is in the description. I'm going to drop the link in the live chat right now. But Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, they'll match up to $100 on your first deposit. And we're doing these live underdog drafts, and they're so fun. They're amazing. They're the best way to draft because they're just so fun. They're so fun, and the prizes are amazing. So let me drop that link in the live chat. So click that link, and if you want to draft with us, we draft at night at midnight on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, sometimes Sunday nights. Pretty much every other night we draft on Underdog using that link I just dropped and pinned in the live chat. The link's in the description. And hold on, I have something playing in the background. There we go. So click that link in the live chat or in the description and register now. Minimum of $10 deposit. Again, they'll match up to $100 on your first deposit. So be careful not to drop 10 and you're like, I should have dropped 50 because you would have got 50. But if you aren't ready to go and signed up, you're not going to get into the drafts at night. It'll take a few minutes to register, so you don't want to be left, oh my God, I got to register, I'm not going to get in. But anyways, the key to winning a best ball draft right now, in my opinion, is getting those rookies before they become top dollar. This is the same thing on repeat. It's rinse and repeat. Look at Walker, look at Breece Hall last year. Now, there are so many rookie running backs who got to land the right ones, and that's part of my job, is pinpointing that it's Charbonnet, it's Sean Tucker, it's obviously Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan. But we did identify Andre Miller in my rookie running back video. Bigsby's got some upside. There are a lot of guys that have nice appeal. They could go late. I'm not saying that it's the top 5 and that's it, but really it comes down to Charbonnet, Sean Tucker, Bigsby, and Bijan. And where you draft those guys, it's unbelievable. You have to take advantage of it. Don't draft them early, but you can get Jahmyr Gibbs if you're reaching at the top of round 5. Don't reach any higher than that. You don't have to. But 5, 6, 7, I've seen Jahmyr Gibbs go. Charbonnet, don't reach higher than round 7, 7.5, because you don't want to ruin his ADP. But you can get Charbonnet in like 8, 9, 10. You can get Sean Tucker in like the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th round. These are guys that win you a league. These are Walker and Hall from last year. So that if you want to win underdog, you want those teams assembled and already drafted before the NFL draft, because once Charbonnet goes to the combine, and actually it could all start going sideways once the combine hits. The combine is on April 20. The combine is where's my combine date?
In a month, right?
Yeah, it's on February 28th through March 6th. So, March or February 28th. So the end of this month. Wow, 8 days. Yeah. February 28th, days. 8 days.
No, it's Friday.
That's next week. Yeah, that's next Saturday.
I'm so caught up in all the videos I'm doing. Like, I don't even know what date it is right now. We got 8 days. The combine's in 8 days.
The 20th.
Get your drafts in before the combine, because as soon as the combine happens and Charbonnet goes out there and looks like an absolute monster, as soon as Sean Tucker goes out and proves he is fast, because for some reason people don't think he's got really good speed. He may not be that. He could end up being the fastest guy in the draft, or he may just prove he's 4.3 fast. But as soon as these guys go out and prove it, I mean, their values are going to climb. Ron, what's the earliest you've seen in a non-fantasy football community draft? What's the earliest you've seen Jahmyr Gibbs go? If it's just you in the draft with a bunch of randoms.
The earliest has been, I think, 4th or 5th round.
What's the earliest you've seen Charbonnet go in a draft full of randoms?
Probably 7-8.
Win a league territory, guys. My favorite draft approach in Underdog is to go heavy wide receiver because it feels right. It's best player available field, though. Go, early quarterback, early wide receivers, even early tight end quarterback, whatever you want, and then just stockpile Jahmyr Gibbs, Charbonnet, Sean Tucker. And I know Ron's against this, but then like Kamara is sitting there in round 7 or 8. I've grabbed him too. So I've had this. I keep building over and over and over. Ron, like you said, I'm getting in a routine where I'm not straying from my pattern, and I need to. But I'm drafting Jahmyr Gibbs, Charbonnet, Tucker, Kamara, and Bigsby and Kendre Miller, and I'm just loading up, and that's my running back room. And I know I'm going to land 2 of them. I know it. I know even if Bijan's not in that group, I know I'm going to smash 2 of those picks. And if I've got everything else to the rafters, I mean, crap. It's going to be a good day on Underdog when I check that.
I agree with that. Just something I wanted to mention real quick. I was talking about how I didn't take my first wide receiver until the 5th round on this one. So I took 2 quarterbacks. I got Mahomes, pick 17, Fields, pick 41. It's pretty good value.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking on this one, just to switch it up a little bit. My normal build is 3-6-8-3. But I'm thinking here I'm just going to go 2 quarterbacks, Mahomes and Fields, and get that extra wide receiver. Just because it's good to get that mix.
Yeah.
You're doing Underdog. You might, you get those 2 extra picks because you're not. It's going to go back to 18 rounds once the best ball starts, the best ball mania. So you might want to go with 3 quarterbacks because if one gets injured, you still got a backup. If you're down to 1, then you're going to go a bye week without a quarterback. So I like the minimum of 3 quarterbacks at least.
Easily 3 quarterbacks.
I hear you, Ron. But I'm doing this is like my 50th draft. I'm probably going to max out the big board. So if one of the quarterbacks gets hurt, I got 120 other drafts that don't have him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think what he's saying though is you can still win with that team you're building. You don't want to assume that it won't win if you have the right backup quarterbacks in there. Maybe that team.
But I feel like it's capped on upside slightly. If I'm in this particular build, I'm just gonna bet on Mahomes and.
Yeah, but bro, what about the last pick round 19, round 20? You take Sam Howell. Just get a third quarterback on there, a guy that could be a breakout. You're barely using your 20th player in an 18 round draft, which is later on there'll be 18 rounds. I understand what you're saying, but with 20, take Sam Howell. Just keep doing what you're doing, but take Sam.
But I'm taking 3 tight ends with my last 3 picks. But
I like that too,
and I like it. But I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree. I'm just going to do 2 quarterbacks on this build, even though 3 quarterbacks is my preferred.
Yeah,
I just so early. I'm just going to see how it goes.
I just think if Fields runs so much, he's going to miss 1 or 2 games, and like Ron said, if that happens to be and coincide with Mahomes' bye week, then just one of those guys being hurt makes it so you don't have a quarterback for a week or 2. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean like in your mind you're thinking, okay, well, as long as Mahomes stays healthy or as long as Fields is healthy, as long as one's healthy at one moment, I'll be okay. But that's not the case if you have a bye week, bro. So I don't know.
Right, but I'm also just drafting for upside because of the amount of teams I'm going to have without Mahomes or Fields.
Okay, but
I do hear you.
Yeah.
If I was doing just one draft or a couple drafts, I would definitely make sure to have 3 quarterbacks. I just thought that was interesting to bring up.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting approach, but I can just guarantee I could look at your team with 20 people on it and say, that wide receiver you don't need, bro. Go get Sam Howell for that wide receiver. That wide receiver is not going to do anything for you. Take him off your, you know what I'm saying? So, anyway, hey guys, I gotta let you drop off one at a time because I gotta jump. I'll be back tonight with a live premiere. Ben, any final words? 10 seconds.
My 8th wide receiver right now is Nico Collins. I got him at 185, which is about an 8 pick value. Not crazy, but appreciate everything you do. Love the healthy debate we're all able to have.
Yep.
Good luck to everyone, and go draft Boston Scott in the 20th round.
Yeah. Trust your gut, Ben. For anybody that's wondering why we keep saying Boston Scott, it's really Tyler Scott. Draft Tyler Scott in the last round, says Ron Navy. Unless you're drafted in front of him, then he gets mad. Living Legend, you're live. Your last comment. 20 seconds.
Yeah. I just want to thank you for having me on here. Tell everybody go ahead and grab that Living Legend album. It's out everywhere. It's doing pretty well.
All right.
LIVINGLEGEND album. You know what I mean? Produced by yours truly.
Attaboy.
Check it out.
Are you for real?
You got an album out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Check it out.
Okay, we'll check it out.
Yeah. I've been doing music since the '90s. So
Nice.
Long time.
Hey, you need to come up with some kind of the fantasy football show beat, bro.
Oh man, I can do that in my sleep, man.
Yeah. We got our own rap artist that calls in all the time. Rock Out.
Legend.
Yeah, Rock Out does
my avatar is an album cover.
Okay.
It's under my name, Living Legend.
Yeah.
Living Legend.
All right, Legend.
Where do we go to hear?
Anyway, Amazon, Spotify, Apple Music.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, we'll go check it out.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, Legend. Appreciate you, pal.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Call in anytime. Later.
All right, peace, man. No doubt.
All right, Ben, let's see. Ben, you already said your final words, right? Yeah. Appreciate you, Ben. All right, Ron Navy, any final words?
Yeah, I just finishing up a draft just like Ben. I had the number 1 slot. I ended up with Jefferson, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, George Pickens, Jamar Gibbs, Mike Evans, Zach Charbonnet, Kirk Cousins, of course, Brian Robinson, Tyler Boyd, Sean Tucker, Kenny Pickett, Michael Meyer, Jalen Warren, Allen Robinson, Isaiah Likely, Rashid Rice, Dalton Kincaid, and Tyler Scott. I drafted in the 19th round.
Nice. Be careful. Be careful.
The 20th. So, yeah.
Nice job, Ron. All right, I'll see you tonight on the premiere.
All righty, everybody have a good one.
All right,
Take care.
Good team later. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you tonight on the premiere. It's about the franchise tag players, Danny Dimes, Barkley, Lamar, and Tony Pollard. I'll see you all tonight for that. Appreciate you. Peace out. JB, thank you for the super chat, my guy.